Hey guys, what's going on? So after using the dBooster and seeing how awesome it was on the 7B, like I couldn't understand how this thing was working. So I figured since we're giving one of these away, let's actually talk to them and see what's going on the inside. And today we actually have Rick from Royer Labs himself, who's gonna open one of these guys up for us and tell us a little bit about the product.
I'm the president and the CEO. I started the company with my partners, John and Dave and Raphael. I'm one of the designers with Dave. Been with the company for over 25 years. And prior to this, I had a guitar amplifier company called Matchless.
Those are some of the greatest amplifiers ever, especially for mid-gain stuff. When I think Matchless, it's like that family, you gotta be an amp head to really know, but like Matchless is in like the family of Dr. Z, Bad Cats, all that good stuff, where it's perfected the point of breakup. Always amazing on mid-gain stuff. And Matchless, I remember when I was little or younger, I definitely wanted a Matchless amplifier, but I just couldn't afford one. I just couldn't afford that, you know. Nowadays, things are a little different.
Well, one of the things that Matchless brought to me was I loved high quality stuff. So when we started Royer Labs, I insisted that if we were going to do this at all, it had to be really high quality. Otherwise, it wasn't going to be fun.
Can you tell me, first off, what even gave you the idea to do not only like a booster, but coupled with a DI box?
We started off with the dBooster 1. This came as a result of getting calls from customers saying, I'm using a ribbon microphone, a Royer mic, or another passive ribbon microphone with an interface, and I have to crank the gain all the way up, and it gets noisy, and the headroom goes down. So we knew that ribbon microphones in general were very low output microphones. So we decided to make an interface that was going to boost the gain and give all of the performance of a microphone preamplifier with a interface. That's what prompted us to come out with the dBooster. We knew that there were other products on the market and we thought they were very good, but we wanted to up the ante a little bit. So we came out with the dBooster 1, and it's been out for a couple of years now. And then we said, what could we do to enhance the product? And we said, well, we could do two things. We could put a high impedance input so you could use it as a direct box, and also let's make it 2 channels so that you could use it with a stereo microphone or a pair of microphones. And we also were aware that sometimes stereo microphones would cause a ground loop, so we isolated the 2 channels electrically from each other, so you could plug in 2 microphones or a stereo mic into 2 different preamps or into multiple interfaces without getting a ground loop. So this gives us a little bit of an edge, because stereo microphones can be problematic because they share a left and right channel with a ground. Would you like to see what's inside?
I would like to see what's inside. One thing that I want to talk about with this is I noticed when I use this with the SM7B, and you guys will kind of hear a little bit more of that because I'm doing a couple of videos. I'm doing like a how to write a song like Sleep Token, and you guys heard me singing on that Issues cover, is the top end of it sounded really nice, and it took away a lot of the muddiness that typically happens with an SM7B or anything that needs to be pushed that hard because of its SPL level. It was to the point that when I was using it, it almost felt like it was a preamp itself. So can you actually, while you're opening this, can you actually explain why it's like that?
Sure. We didn't want to just make something that was going to boost the level. We wanted something that was going to be compatible impedance-wise with microphones, so that you didn't take away any of the performance of the microphone. Some of the other models that are on the market actually will load down the microphone, or if they don't load the microphone, they don't add to the performance. And we took an approach where we were building a very high-end microphone preamplifier that was going to be phantom powered, that would give you consistent performance regardless of what impedance you plugged it into. Some of the other models are very dependent on the preamplifier that it's matched with. And most of them are very simple devices. They're just a cascade amplifier with, say, 4 FETs or 4 transistors. And our approach was very different. This is the input stage down here. It's actually a series of transistors parallel to get very low noise and a good impedance match to the microphone. So this is the input stage right here. It consists of 8 transistors and diodes to prevent any kind of RF or overloading to happen. And then you have all of this circuitry on the top, which is the output stage and the voltage conditioning. This device is very stable with a variety of fluctuations in phantom power. So that is the dBooster 1, and it's got a switch for 12 dB or 20 dB. Many of the other devices don't have switchable gain because they're fixed gain, which also can be problematic for them because sometimes you don't need that much gain, and adding gain unnecessarily just adds noise. And this is all American made. One thing of note about dBoosters, people will sometimes try to use them with a condenser microphone and they say it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work deliberately because these were designed for passive mics or for the early ribbon microphones, which can be damaged if they're hit with phantom. And besides, if you have a condenser microphone, you really shouldn't need a dBooster. That's the guts of the dBooster 1.
And one thing I want to point out to you guys is, even though he's opening the dBooster 1, the giveaway that we're doing with Royer is actually for the dBooster 2, so you're getting double that goodness. That's actually going to be a lot of fun to whoever gets that, because the one that I'm using right now, I don't know if I could even go back to using my SM7B the other way. But you guys already heard that in the other video before.
So should we take apart a dBooster 2?
I mean, if you want to show the people what they're getting, totally, for sure.
And you will notice that the dBooster 2 has two separate circuit boards. They're completely independent of each other. First things that you notice, that one of the channels is isolated electrically from the chassis, and that's part of the isolation. There are the two dBoosters internally. This is capacitive coupling so that they both see ground, but they're not electrically connected with a hard wire. And it's the same layout as the dBooster 1. You have the input circuitry and the protection diodes, all of the output circuitry, and the voltage control, voltage stabilization.
Well, that is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming by, and thank you for supporting our products, because if you guys didn't use them, we wouldn't make them.
And that's the thing, like, as a software company, no matter what we do, there's just certain things that we can't put in a plug. There's just certain things that just need to be done hardware. Like, we rely on each other to make these things happen, make these things work. So we really appreciate extremely well-made products. And we all know that there are other products that kind of, you know, had a similar idea, but from the ones that I've used, this is by far the best one. And we're only mainly talking about the boosting of it, but the fact for being a DI box as well is an extremely high quality DI box. I mean, one thing I want to even mention is the chassis. Like, just look at the build quality on these things. Absolutely phenomenal, like even down to the finish of them. You're not getting quality products like that. How much does this run? We'll put a little thing up of what it is. All I know is it's not enough for what you're getting, especially for 2 channels of that. So when you're using these cheaper interfaces that you're going and picking up for $100, $150, $200, and you want it to sound like a $1,000 or $1,500 preamp, well, the simplest way to do that is to spend a little bit more. Even if you were to grab one channel of those guys, you're still gonna only be in the ballpark of like $300, $400, and it's gonna sound like a $1,000 preamp that you're going into. So just want to put that out there for people that are trying to save a little bit of money but still want to be able to compete and have high quality vocals, high quality guitars, and all that good stuff, whatever you choose to use this for in the future. As always, was there anything else that you guys wanted to know about this product? Are you excited for the giveaway? Leave it in the comments below and I'll chat with you fine people like I always do.